Hey, welcome everyone to Mystics Outlook. Thanks to all of you who joined us earlier for pregame. Got Cardell W. Jr. here, Raymond Blinds, Wilson Tarper Jr. now. Wild night here at Care First Arena. We saw Washington down 20 early in this one, and we saw them climb their way out of the hole and beat a pretty good team at home. Not only that, win streak extends to 5, which is also another positive. And one of the youngsters had their kind of official coming out party. I know Shakira went nuts. Hell of a night for her tonight. Cody McMahon had a hell of a night tonight. I was tweeting during the game, like late, they got the chanting Cody in here, which was nuts, but also appropriate for the type of night that she had. I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Ray, we'll start with you and Cardell. As the Mystics rally from down 20 to beat the Wings 96-92, extend their win streak to 5.
Yeah, man, that's just a hell of a win, man. Tale of two halves. They gave up 60 in the first half, came out after a break, and they just slowly and methodically walked them down, capping it off with that big fourth quarter. They outscored the Wings 24-12, held them to 26% shooting from the field. But I mean, it's the things that we've been harping on the whole season. Play defense, keep your turnovers down, play for your bigs. It's a recipe for success. And then you mentioned Cody, stepping up in a big way. I think all of her 18 points was in the second half, and being as though they came back from a 20-point deficit during that time, that just shows the type of impact she had on the game tonight. I'm just impressed with the way they just kept their poise, even staring at a 20-point deficit. This a team they played 3 times in the past 2 weeks. So it's difficult to, get that familiar with the opponent, and they beat them the last time. So, the Wings were coming out with revenge on the mind. They came out quick. The Mystics, they weathered the storm, and just fought their way back. That's huge for a team like this, man. We're going to continuously talk about their youth because, they're the youngest team in the league. But Cardell said it before we got on. They're growing up at a rapid pace. This is a team that beat them convincingly in May. And now in the last 2 contests, it seems like they have their number. So that just shows the type of progression this team has made. Got to shout out Georgia. She's continuing to string together some good games. And, when that position is no longer a handicap, we see in the results. So, got to acknowledge the work she's putting in. She had 12 points tonight, 5 assists, 2 turnovers, super efficient, 4 for 7 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3, and held up as well as she could defensively. You can't ask for any more than that. And that's something you guys have been saying since she returned from injury. She doesn't need to go scorch earth, just be serviceable and not make a lot of mistakes, and that's what she's doing. And that's been allowing, the horses to have opportunity to put their work in. So yeah, man, it's a hell of a win. Cody's development, her patience, her deciding when to attack, when to go full speed and when to kind of have a little more pace. It's showing up. And yeah, man, and the last few games, she's been able to to contribute in a huge way. Of course, with tonight being the biggest, but yeah, man, they're developing into a problem, and they're gonna be one of them teams people just not gonna look forward to playing.
Cardell.
They showed tremendous heart. They just keep battling. The Wings was scorching the earth, especially in the first half. I think they came out shot 72% the first quarter, then it was 61% in the second quarter, 44% the third quarter. But notice the thing, the efficiency started going down, and that's the difference between winning ball games and trying to get to a point to win championships is the defense. I knew they was gonna make adjustments to certain, pregame. I knew Alana and Jessica, they was gonna come back strong. They're too talented not to, compared to the previous game last week. Ogunbowale. I know what she could do. Paige, we know what she could do. But I was looking more at Alana and Jessica. If they joined the party, then I knew it would be problems. But defensively, they struggle to deal with physical, athletic bigs, and that's what the Mystics have. Up front with Shakira and Kiki. Onyewere is a vet. She knows how to play. Even if she don't score a lot, she's not going to hurt you defensively. And she's not going to make a lot of mental mistakes, throwing the ball away, not being in position defensively, all that. Sonya, didn't have the best night, but she came through when they needed her most at the end. But again, she has a hands full dealing with Ogunbowale and Paige. That's tough dealing with both of them all night. You know what I mean? And like Ray said, Georgia's starting to find her, so she's starting to look like what we saw when she came out of Kentucky before the ACL tear last year. She's starting to find a rhythm, and it just takes time. It hits different players. Different players find their rhythm and get over that mental hurdle at different points. And you can see she's starting to come out of it. But the difference in this game is Cody McMahon. You know what I mean? I figured, I really believe this was the case, because if I was coaching against the Mystics, I would have did it. We gonna come in, we gonna be super aggressive offensively, but on defense, I want to see what the Rook can do. We gonna put pressure on Shakira, Sonya, the All Stars, Kiki, and all that. But I want to see if the Rook has she really grown up? Has she really figured things out with the reads and understanding when to score, knowing when to control her speed, knowing when to apply it? And she showed, yeah, I have. And not only did she show up, she showed up in the biggest moments when they needed her. She hit big clutch shots down the stretch. To come back from 20 points down against a playoff team is not easy for the youngest team in the league. Maybe Onyewere done did it. Shakira done been in the year. She's a young vet, but she's a vet. Sonya Kiki, again, like I keep saying, it's still only in their second year, man. It feels like they like year 8, but it's only their second year. But Cody, and she's learned when to go full speed and when to slow it down, and now she's becoming dangerous because she understands now she's more efficient scoring the ball. Defensively, she was there, but now, all right, she's applying the offensive thing. Like that bucket on Paige, where she just big girled her down there in the block and just turned around and scored. Like Paige is tenacious. That you don't really see that happen too often, man. But it was nothing she could do. We've been talking about it, how physically gifted she is, man. Especially when she gets downhill, it ain't too many ladies in the league that want to deal with that or can possibly deal with that. I think one time she got downhill, all AZ could do was foul her. You know what I mean? She's just too explosive, and she too strong, and that's what you saw late in the game, especially when they was coming back, and then the pressure got on them and the momentum got on them, and the Wings just couldn't figure it out to hold a team in the fourth quarter to 12 points of that team of that caliber with that firepower and the way they were shooting the ball through pretty much the majority of the game up to that point. That says a lot, and it says a lot about the Mystics' mental toughness and their defense. Because again, the way the Wings was torching them, if they don't defend, they're not getting back in this game. You can't exchange buckets, and they did that. And as their defense started to improve, their offense started to go along with it. And it's amazing how they all connected. The way you defend dictates how you play offense. It's amazing. People these days think it's just the offense. It's the end all be all. I'm like, nah, and it's all connected, man. The shots you take, if it's bad shots, it can leave you naked on the defensive end, and you can't recover. And then they just get easy baskets, and it's hard to recover from that. Live ball turnovers. Shoot, the first half of the season, majority of the first half of the season, that's what killed this team, the Mystics. That's what killed them. So they're outplaying 24-12 in the fourth quarter, man, and do what they did to come back from 20 down was amazing. And Cody had 10 in the fourth. She had 10 in the 24 in the fourth, man. As a rookie doing that, like, that's amazing. And then, again, the comeback overall, it's a total team effort, but it's just key players. Shakira she's playing at all I'm not even gonna say all-star level. She's playing at an all WNBA level. And they gotta really, if they're being objective voters, they gotta look at her for that. You know what I mean? Like she's hooping. Because, you know, Kiki's steady. Sonya's been up and down since all. Shakira the one that been killing. And I think her not being an all-star probably pissed her off. She like, hold up, are y'all serious? Okay, cool. Let me go get that all WNBA and elevate my team to playoffs. I'm going to make it real hard on y'all moving forward. And you just got to respect that. But to win this game with the Mystics losing second chance points, which is something they normally win, even though they had the edge on rebounds 34-32, which is uncommon because normally they dominate in that area too. They lost in second chance points. They lost in fast break points 18-7. But they dominated in bench points because of Cody 24-8. You see what I'm saying? And that ended up being the difference, man. On top of that fourth quarter defense just really clamping down. Because both teams shot, 50% from the field, I believe. Yeah, 50% from the field. The Wings shot 39% from deep, 71% from the free throw line. The Mystics shot 36% from deep, 84% from the free throw line. What was the difference? Bench points and that amazing fourth quarter when they really just clamped down on them, man. So kudos to the Mystics, man, because it really shows in these types of wins where it's close and they really got fights to the very end to pull out wins that they're growing up. Anybody can win a blowout. You can't really gauge that. You can just say that's an off night. But when it's a tough game and you got to really dig down and battle and pull it out, that shows like, all right, this young team ain't so young no more. They're figuring the things out. And again, shout out to Coach Sidney, man. Hey, let's call a spade. He got to be in that mix for Coach of the Year. He got to. Youngest roster in the league. Nobody was looking at the Mystics to possibly be in the playoffs this year. Nobody was. Let's be honest. We were kind of like we were wait and see approach. We knew they had talent, but they were young, so we would kind of show us what you got. You know what I'm saying? Before we make our conclusion, and you know they're proving that they're worthy of that. Thing is, they just got to keep it going, man. But yeah, he should be in the mix with the coaching job that he's doing.
Yeah, I piggyback with you guys. Talking about the night that Cody had, you guys talking about getting the stops. Obviously, is when things started to change. I think the last 5 minutes of the third, really like the last 3 minutes, that run right there, that seemed like a run from a veteran team to get back into the game. You don't make that run at the end of, we've all watched enough basketball. What they tell you when you're down 20. Try to get it within 12, heading into the fourth. Make it small, make those runs. We've all heard those things, right? That crazy run, like I said, last 5 minutes, but it really felt like impactful. Like you felt it. The last 3 minutes, it felt like they dominated the last 3 minutes of the third quarter. And then the building went nuts. They get a stop late. Cody burns up court. Right to your point, talking about her understanding when to open the throttle and when to close it. Stops, flips it to Sonya, gets the three off before the buzzer, and now it's an 8-point game. Just that quick. And Cardell, to go back to your point, you talk about their mental toughness, right? We've seen them deal with a lot this year, and I thought it was an example of all the things, earlier this year you mentioned some of the different tests they faced, right? This was a game, I feel like you can see some of those lessons they learned from some of those past games all in this second half, right? We saw them get the stops, the poise, and then they get it within 6, and they trick away 3. They have 3 empty offensive possessions. Dallas extends their lead back to double digits. Yeah, these kids don't blink, just simply go about their business, get some more stops, and then they're getting downhill again and the attacking. Cardo, you mentioned Cody having like 10. I'm sure somebody took some time and went into it felt like 6 of the 10 came on like broken possessions. Like it was late in the clock, they needed something. And she decided I'm getting downhill. And some of those plays ended up being 3-point plays, but twos, etc. It broke Dallas's defense at times, which decided to turn the corner. And you were talking about Paige, good size as the defender. I can't remember the last time we seen her just get big boy down there like that. Maybe get stuck with Jackie Young or something like that, which makes sense. But to your point again, going to the type of physicality Cody plays with, that was just a problem. And they were cycling through defenders there in the second half. in terms of trying to find somebody to keep her from turning the damn corner. And then if she turned the corner, there was one play I think Paige made where she had an outstanding strip because Cody would have had 12 because she turned the corner. It was just Jessica Shepard there. She's in the restricted circle. And Cody had finished a couple times in that same situation. I think Paige just did a really good job snatching the ball away. But Shakira keeping them in the game in that first half, doing what she was doing, like you said, Cardell. And then Georgia there in that first half too, providing some support to Shakira there at that time. You have Cody sparking, getting going late in the game, and then Sonya late doing what the closers do, hits a couple big shots. But man, they've been growing up. We've been talking about the test and the growth. It's a hell of a win. Like I said, 20 down, didn't blink, and that's a damn good team they beat.
Yo, just to add this in there, the last 8:04 of the game, Mystics outscored the Wings 21-6.
And one of those 6 was a free layup during the foul game portion of it for Paige.
Locked up.
Hey, I'm not even gonna lie, man. After that, after the third quarter push, and then the Wings pushed it back up double digits, I thought it was a wrap. But they dug in and put their way out, man. That was big time.
Yeah.
All right, it's up on the screen for you guys.
It's tough, man, because of what Cody did, man. But you gotta give it to Shakira. She was. They can't do nothing with Shakira.
Yep. All right, Xfactor.
Cody, no question, Cody.
Those two made it very easy tonight. So let's get to some of these comments and get out of here and prepare for Friday. Come on, internet. You can do it. No. All right, first comment we got from Area 11T. Cody and Georgia were money, especially with some stars struggling. And Kiki with foul trouble. That definitely hurt those 3 fouls in the first half. And her being saddled to the bench and picking up that fourth as well. But you guys' thoughts on that comment?
That's what the team about, man. You need all hands on deck. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then that's why we've been saying whoever's playing point, they or whoever's in there at that point, they got to deliver. And I knew they was gonna be tested because I think that's what a lot of teams are banking on. Sonya's proven, Shakira gonna do what she do. Kiki, Onyenwere is a vet, but that 5th spot, somebody that's young, that's inexperienced, we're going to try to exploit that. They got to keep delivering to keep teams off of them, because if they keep delivering, then it's just gonna be tough for teams to kind of key in on players. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you saw tonight. They really did, but Cody delivered and Georgia delivered. It wasn't like, who could they pick on? You know what I'm saying? So you can't really pick on like Cassandra and all that because they don't play enough. You know what I mean? They just get into spot minutes to get somebody to breathe or foul trouble or whatnot. Man, it was just complete. Like, they had 6 players in double figures. That's hard to deal with.
That's total team effort. And we saw that tonight. It was on display. Speaking of, I think Sonya hates these jerseys. Y'all love this jersey talk. Because, man, does she struggle to shoot enough.
Oh, man, that's bad. W's, man. That's all that matters, man. W. She'll find them. It happens, man. Jumpers come and go. Again, that's why defense is important. That's the one part of the game you could be most consistent at.
That's 2 straight shows y'all talking about these jerseys and performance. We just care about the results, y'all. I'm sorry. I'll happily share the comments, but I don't have anything to say. Meanwhile, Carrie be hooping, and they don't lose in them, so keep them. All right.
Shakira, just keep doing what you're doing.
Up next, again, Area 11 team, appreciate you, but ultimately they kept finding ways to win, so that's really impressive. Shout out to the coach, as you guys touched on earlier. Which coach said, it's not only it's the first time they won 5 games in a long time, but think about the timing of it. It's a great time. We're going to go on a 5-game win streak. It's a great time to win a 5-game win streak.
Yeah, get these W's, man. You rack them up. Rack them up. Simple as that. 2019. They said it on the broadcast. 2019, the championship year.
Sheesh.
Pre-COVID, before COVID changed our lives, man. Kobe was still here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how long Kobe was still here.
That's how long? That's
Yeah,
crazy. Well, shout out to them.
No bubble championship. LeBron only had 3, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God.
Hey, man. Different
Wow.
world.
Oh my God. Look, man, we appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll check in with y'all Friday. I think they host the Dream on Friday, so we'll have pregame and outlook on Friday. And then that's another tough matchup. It hasn't been easy at all. Like we said, I think what's it called? Like a couple of weeks before All-Star break, we were talking about this portion of the season, like what they had coming into the building. This homestand has been crazy in terms of it's yet another playoff team. Like Atlanta's been viewed as a contender most of the year. So, you know, got another tall task coming into that building on Friday.
That's going to be a different test. That's going to be a womanhood test, a physical test. That's another thing they got to try to pass. If they, against teams like that, they struggle with, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they because they got bodies that can deal with like Kiki and Shakira, like they can rumble all night. Again, it's going to come down to that fifth spot, the youngest. And they've grown up, but we about to see how much they grown up. Like, are they gonna hit them back or keep getting hit and fade?
Right.
We'll find out.
We appreciate y'all. I appreciate all the comments. Again, see y'all Friday night for pregame, and then later on for outlook, and again on Sunday as they wrap up this homestand, and then they start next week off with back-to-back games in Vegas against the Aces this time of year.
Oof.
Because everybody looks forward to them this time of year. But y'all have a great night. Again, shout out to Mrs. Riley from 20 Down, 5-game win streak. As Cardell so eloquently shared by making us all feel old, thinking way back to pre-COVID times. 5-game, first 5-game win streak since 2019. So credit to them, man. But again, just it's a hell of a team win.